today we're at the 5th annual extensive reading seminar at Sugiyama University in Sugiyama Women's University in Nagoya, Japan with Junko Yamanaka. Thank you very much for sparing some time.
Thank you.
And we're going to talk about extensive reading soon, but I'd like to ask you a little bit about your background, if it's okay. So how did you first become interested in English, first of all?
Oh, okay. I'm from a very ordinary junior high school and public high school, and when I was in junior high school, there was an English program, radio program, when I was in the first year. So I was listening to it. And then in the second year, there was a Radio Eikaiwa, English conversation by Toru Matsumoto. And 1 year later, 1 year after that, there was going to be Tokyo Olympics. And he said, let's start from scratch. Let's start from pronunciation. And that was when I was beginning my second year junior high. And I thought it was great. And I can learn the pronunciation from scratch. That was really good for me. And I listened to his radio conversation program, 15 minutes a day, like 5 or 6 days a week. And all 5 years until the end of senior high school. So it really made me interested in English, and English became my very favorite subject. And also I learned to speak by listening to the radio.
Was that with NHK?
NHK.
I've heard lots of people talk about the NHK radio programs.
Yeah.
They're very popular, I think.
It was really, really good. Toru Matsumoto was great.
I don't know though, I'll have to check him out. 15 minutes a day is a nice amount of time.
Right.
Something everybody can do, right?
Yeah, and I listen to it just every single day. It's really helped me.
And what about teaching? How did you become a teacher first?
I wanted to be an English teacher because I liked English. So I went to a teacher's college, Mie University, to be an English teacher, either for junior high or senior high. But during, when I was there was an opportunity to get a Rotary scholarship. And I wanted to go abroad, of course. And so I applied for it, and I got it. So I got to go to State University of New York for 1 year, getting scholarship. And it changed my life a lot. And I no longer wanted to teach at a junior high or senior high, where I had to teach like a Junkos for entrance exams, but I wanted to teach some practical, real English. So that's why I got a job at a Senmon Gakko in Nagoya.
For people outside Japan, can you explain what a Senmon Gakko is?
Senmon Gakko is a vocational school, and that's almost equivalent to junior college. But people come to study English, English only.
So they could be, are they mostly young people? Or
Yes. High school graduates, sometimes university graduates, mixture of different age levels, but mostly senior high school graduates.
But it's very practical kind of
very practical,
English.
More skills and qualifications.
Okay, I see. Well, I wanted to talk to you about your experience in different sectors later on, actually. But before we get to that, you've worked with materials writing. You've written some textbooks.
Yes.
I've used Cover to Cover, which is a reading textbook. I'm using it now, actually, and I like it very much. Thank you. And Impact Issues as well, you worked on. Can you tell us about the experience and the process of writing materials?
Okay. The very first English books that I wrote, co-authored, was Impact Issues, and with Dr. Richard Day, University of Hawaii. And that is because of Michael Rost, who is the series editor. I used to know him, or he used to know me as a rep, and we had contact, and he was asking me if I was interested in co-authoring with Richard Day. And at first it was like a reading book, I heard, but then it changed into a kind of discussion book. And so I said, sure, and I had a lot of experience teaching at a Senmon Gakko, and different students, different levels, and I was very much interested in writing a material. So I said yes, and then we worked together, and then it turned out to be a very good discussion reading book. We were happy about it. And then people started asking for a lower level book, and we worked on impact topics. And then people started asking for a little higher level, and we started working on impact values. So there are 3 books.
Big series, right?
Yeah, and then they were all revised.
You said you worked with Richard Day, who's in Hawaii. You worked with him on cover to cover as well, right?
Oh, that's right.
But you're in 2 different countries.
Right.
How did you work together?
On the internet, emailing, and then sometimes Richard Day came to Japan to teach at Asia University.
Okay.
So we could see like once a year, and then, but other than that, it was all like emailing. And then only once I went to Hawaii to see him.
That's too bad.
At the very end of the writing of impact issues, and Michael Ross came from San Francisco. I went from Japan, and then we all met at Richard Day's house, and we worked together. The last fine tuning.
That's a nice experience.
That's very interesting. Yeah.
Was there anything that was surprising to you when you wrote the first book? Anything that you didn't expect, or any difficulty?
Not really. I really enjoyed, especially the first book. Not much, but when we published it, there was some blackmailing. There were some issues that were kind of touchy, gay issues and other kinds.
Yeah.
And so somebody wrote a letter to the publisher, like, this is not a good book, I'm not going to write it, buy it, or I'm not going to buy this publisher's book anymore. Maybe 1 or 2 very bad letters. And we were talking about pushing the envelope. It's kind of dangerous, but we can push as much as possible before it fell. So I understand it's some controversial issues in it, but I think it's important.
I think so. I mean, you have to, if you want people to talk, if they care about it, if it's something that really engages them, of course it's more interesting, more useful.
Yes. So we didn't, we ignored it.
Yes, probably the best idea.
Yes.
And then cover to cover really is a reading book.
Yes.
And that's with Oxford University Press. And one of the things which is a little different and interesting about that is that there are extracts from Oxford University Press graded readers in there. So you're trying to incorporate some extensive reading into a class textbook.
That's right.
Can you tell me something about the rationale?
Okay, so usually reading textbook has a passage which the student has to comprehend, like intensive reading, right? And that's the most important thing. And recently, many textbooks are trying to teach strategies, reading strategies, ignoring, guessing words from context, and inference and all other kinds of things. And that's improvement. But still, a textbook with only comprehension and strategy is not enough, because there's no element of enjoyment in reading. So we wanted to put the enjoyment part, which is the most important part of reading, well, of course for any learning, but we thought that unless you enjoy reading, you don't read much, and you're not motivated to read. So we really wanted to put extensive reading element in the book, so that they will be tempted. They will realize, students will realize how fun it is to read, and how they can do more of the reading if they went to the library and checked out the book that was introduced in the book.
Well, I can confirm that my students often do that. So when you read some of it, they often, a couple of weeks later, I'll see them with the same book. I want to know what happened with the rest of the story. So.
I'm happy to hear that.
Yes, it works. Congratulations.
Good, thank you.
Okay, well, so that takes us on to extensive reading. So why is it so important?
Extensive reading? Extensive reading is important because when you learn a foreign language, you have a lot of anxiety. And it is basically difficult to read something in a second language or foreign language. So I think teachers should understand that. It's also, of course, difficult to speak. Learning a foreign language or a second language is basically difficult and painful and with a lot of anxiety. And then if you are like that, you don't learn much. You need a lot of language input. comprehensible input in order to really learn the language. What is the comprehensible input? There's a lot of things, but they're not going into the students because they kind of reject. They think it's difficult, and they think it's too much for them, and then they kind of shut off. So when they find out reading is enjoyable, easy, and then that's where the affective filter goes down, and then a lot of input is coming in. So they have to really find that reading is easy, reading can be enjoyable, and then that's when people start reading a lot and then enjoy, and then that's where the people go into a virtuous cycle of a good reader. When you enjoy it, you read more, and when you read more, you read faster. When you read faster, you understand better, and then you're more interested in reading more. It's a very good cycle. So that's the purpose.
It seems to me that there's probably three main points. One is that the students should choose things themselves, and it should be something they're interested in.
Right.
They should read as much as they can, and it should be at the correct level for them. Are some of those things sometimes in conflict, do you think?
Not to me.
No.
No, because when something is at the right level, it's comfortable. And so when you're comfortable, you read a lot. And then in order for it to be comfortable, you need to be able to choose it by yourself. It shouldn't be something that other people choose for you, because usually the interests are different. What you like might not be liked by other people. And so it all really depends on the person. So the person should be able to choose what he or she likes. So if that is done, you're free to choose anything at any level, which is very important. And then you get to like it. And if you don't like it, you don't have to read it. It's free.
I think for English language learners, there's an awful lot out there. So you're very lucky if you're an English language learner. It's much harder to find things in Japanese.
That's something I want to look into. Material for English native speakers, for L2 reading. I'm going to start working on it, researching on it. I know that there's graded readers in Japanese.
Yes.
And some people do read them.
Yes.
But not enough copies.
There's only about 10.
And my friend who's teaching Japanese is interested in writing those books.
Okay.
So what we should do is to find people who would write the graded readers for non-native Japanese speakers.
There's some nice books out there for elementary school and up. For Japanese children, which I can read.
Right.
But if you're an English language learner, there's so much.
Right. We're lucky.
Yes.
We're lucky.
Yes,
but I'm suspecting that there are extensive reading, graded readers for Spanish learners, or French learners, or German learners, or something like that.
I've seen them around.
I think teachers can start from that. I think they have the second language, right? As French or Spanish, they learn in school.
Yes.
I think they can. Japanese is a bit difficult, and the material is hard to get. So teachers can start from French or Spanish, if the books are available.
Well, I'd like to learn French, but unfortunately I live in Japan, so...
So that's why I really want to check into that. What kind of books are available?
Yes.
And how many kinds? And then access. What's the access? Amazon or whatever. I'd like to check into that.
Well, maybe we can talk about that later off camera, because
Yes.
Okay. So one thing I'd like to ask about the Extensive Reading Foundation.
Yes.
And you're on the board of directors.
Yes.
Could you tell us about that organisation?
Okay. That's a non-profitable charitable organization to support and promote extensive reading all over the world. And it consists of board members from all over the world, and with Richard Day as chair. And I think we have more than 20 people now. It's a big group now. And then the most important activity that we do is the Language Learner Literature Award that we issue. And So every year we choose the best new graded readers with different levels, and they're going to be they are online. People can look at them, so people can find out what good books, interesting books are around. So when people choose the right books, they become good readers. When the books they choose are boring, they become good readers. Their motivation will go down. But when the book you choose is really good, you're really motivated to read more. So that's why the Language Learner Literature Award is very important. If you find them, that's the books that maybe you should be reading, and that's a good way to promote extensive reading.
I guess you still read extensively in English and Japanese.
Yes. You know what? Every day in my bag. Can I?
Yes, of course.
I basically read on the train.
Oh.
So every day in my bag I have a book.
Here we go.
And this is the little bag that I love to use.
Yes.
It's just a plastic bag that you get something in. And then this is waterproof, and it won't damage your book.
Okay.
It's really, really convenient. I always have a book in it with bookmark.
Okay.
So, the three things that are important. The book, and where is it? Oops.
The bookmark.
I just lost it.
It's disappeared.
Oh, here. The bookmark and the bag.
Okay.
3 items.
This is your set.
My set. And you know what? The access is very important. You have to have a book. In order to read a lot, you have to have the book with you. And whenever you have a little bit of time, you read it. I read a book on the train to work and from. And that's only like 9 minutes ride one way, and another 9 minutes, but it's close to 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So 20 minutes a day, you can read a lot. Yes, you can read a lot. And I usually read about more than 200,000 words per semester.
Wow.
That's what I tell my students to read. And I'm trying to do.
You're leading by example.
So I'm practicing what I preach.
What do you think about reading on, say, someone's reading on their smartphone or something like that?
Anything is okay.
Yeah.
When you are comfortable. Yeah. So any device. Well, that's a good thing for some of the people who usually hate to read, who hate to carry books, who hate to go to the library. That's a very good access, right? So I think it's another choice that you have. It's great.
Actually, that leads on to another question too. Some people don't enjoy reading in their first language, so it's very hard to persuade them to read in a second language. What do you do with those learners?
Okay, so in a class you require the students to read. Right? That's a requirement. They have to read. That's important. And you have to require them, and then you have to tempt them. So both are needed.
So it's a kind of push and pull.
Yes. When they are required to read, they maybe read an English book, even very thin, the very first time in their life. But they feel like, I could read an English book. And then when they start enjoying reading English books, they start enjoying reading. So they start reading Japanese. It's great. Yeah, so I've seen many students who were not readers of Japanese start becoming readers of Japanese.
And that's also a good thing, of course.
Yes.
Good.
That's something great.
Okay, well, there's one more thing I wanted to ask about. I mentioned earlier that you worked in the Seimongakko. You're working in university too, right?
Right.
You've also done teacher training, and you've worked with children as well.
Yes.
So it's quite a broad experience. This is a very big question, sorry, but how do you think English education in Japan is doing? Are we doing a good job? Sorry, it's a huge question.
Wow. In high schools and junior high schools is getting a little better, maybe. High schools still, a lot of schools are doing like entrance exam preparations, and a lot of teachers still have the old thinking. So you need to break it. But there's there's more spread of extensive reading ideas among high school teachers, and that's getting more and more. And so it's slow, but it's getting faster compared to some years ago. It's getting faster.
The concept of extensive reading for first language, for Japanese, is understood and well known in Japan, right? Children are expected to read 10 minutes a day. So it's not that difficult to transfer that into English, right?
I think so.
But it's not happening yet?
It is happening little by little.
Little by little.
Yes, but the entrance exam needs to change.
So that would come to the universities, right?
And universities have changed great deal. They are doing extensive reading. And so I think the high school is the problem. And they think that because their excuse is that there's university entrance exam. But that's not true. University entrance exams are not all translation. So they should know that. And then they'll change. And also another hope is that in elementary schools, they're doing the English education. They have started. And then junior high school teachers are preparing to accept those school children who have done the English education to some extent. And so the junior high is going to change. And then that, I hope, will change high school. Because high school will sooner or later accept students who experienced elementary school English. So they gotta change.
And those children will have had a positive image of English. They will have enjoyed using English, and hopefully they can continue that.
That's right. And in private schools, where like I teach at a private school, and then in the children's department, they started. I think many schools start libraries and picture books, and so it is spreading. So, but teaching children to read is not easy. So I think in those schools they should make the students get to like to open an English book and picture books. Have a positive attitude toward just looking or enjoying the picture books. That will help a lot. Yes, even though they can't read all, they can still. Well, teaching phonics is one good thing. Not over teach it, but teaching a little bit of phonics will help them read some of the words. And that's a very positive experience for them. So if they can carry it to junior high school, that'll be great. And I tell you that the senior high school teachers will have to change because they will have students who have had experience in reading picture books and some extensive reading experience coming into the high school. And so there will be change.
So you have a positive outlook for the future.
Yes.
I think that's a very nice note to end on. So thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.